of recording and running. It only works on Mozilla. But Selenium RC, right? It was a tool which could work on multiple browsers. With Selenium RC, you can work on Mozilla, you can work on IE, Chrome, Opera, and all of the browsers. But the thing is, RC as a tool requires you to learn a programming language. It requires you to learn Java, C#, or Ruby, Python, Perl, PHP, right? There are other languages as well, right? But the thing is, with RC you can execute your scripts on multiple browsers, right? I'm going to cover both JUnit and TestNG. It doesn't make sense to cover both, Surya, because in the end we end up using just once. I'll go by the majority. If majority wants TestNG, I'll cover TestNG. If majority wants JUnit, I'll cover JUnit. Okay. So right now, hold on. Right now, RC as a tool had a lot of drawbacks as well. Fine. When they made RC, they never knew that it's gonna go so famous. Okay, and it was basically started by ThoughtWorks. Right, ThoughtWorks is a product-based company, right, to test their own applications, and later on it was also adopted by Google. Fine. Now overall, it became famous in the market. People started using it. It's free of cost. It could do everything this QTP can do. Fine. So these Google guys and ThoughtWorks guys, they again got together, and in 2011 they made a tool known as WebDriver. Okay. Now architecture of WebDriver and architecture of Selenium RC, they are completely different. People who have already worked on Selenium RC, when they work on WebDriver, they are not able to work on it. You don't need to learn versions, you don't need to learn Selenium RC in order to learn Selenium WebDriver. You can directly learn WebDrivers. So I'll be covering WebDriver in the course. RC is deprecated now. Although companies who have their systems already developed in RC, they are using RC, but practically and officially it is deprecated now. All the new projects are coming in WebDriver. Now WebDriver is a very good tool. It's got lots of features inside it. Fine. It also works on multiple browsers, and it also works on any one of these programming languages. Primarily Java, C#, Ruby. Right. Now it doesn't mean that if your website is made in Java, you need to learn Selenium with Java. If your website is made in C#, you want to learn Selenium with C#. No. Your website, it doesn't matter. It can be made in any particular programming language. Okay. You can use Selenium with that particular website. Right. So that's what RC was, and that's what WebDriver is. IDE, it is the same. It remains same. Only the versions have changed. Selenium IDE is also used these days. People who just want to test their applications on Mozilla, small number of test cases, say 20 or 30 test cases, they do it. If you have got 10,000 test cases to be automated, then don't use IDE. It will not generate reports and all that stuff. Okay. If you have an enterprise application to be tested, an application which is quite big, number of test cases are there, it's complex, there are a lot of logics involved, then use WebDriver. Okay. Grid is something which helps us to execute our test cases parallelly. Parallelly on multiple browsers, parallelly on multiple machines as well. Okay. You make a central machine as a controller. It's known as a hub technically, and you connect other machines to it. And suppose if I have got 10,000 test cases, I can distribute the test cases among the machines This makes the overall execution quite fast, right? And GRID is now available as GRID 2. Fine, GRID 2. GRID 2 works with WebDriver, right? So this was about Selenium. So don't think that Selenium is a single tool. It comprises of lots of other components as well. Fine. Now, how do we use this tool practically? What is the main difference in RC and WebDriver? Well, in RC primary there used to be a server which you used to always start. Okay, you used to always start a server, stop a server. Fine. And in WebDriver, first of all, there is no server. You simply run the code. Now that was the problem. In RC, the server never used to get started. Sometimes people used to end up logging off from their machines and all. Right. In WebDriver, you have got user emulations, like you can emulate moving mouse and all everything. In RC, that was not so easy. You had to use JavaScript commands and a lot of other stuff was there. Right. Look, what is the main difference? Right. Hold on for some time. By tomorrow, you'll get the difference. Okay. If I show you the APIs right now, there are people in the batch who don't know Java language. They'll not be able to understand it. Right. Why do I teach it with Java language? Is because 70% of the market uses Selenium with Java language. Java is again an open source tool. You don't need a license to work with it. Right. So that's why I use Java language. And it's a very, very powerful language. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. So right now, yeah, please join early tomorrow. It's first come, first serve. I don't allow more than 25 people. It becomes very difficult to manage. Right? There is no point implementing Selenium with C# and Java both. Either use C# or use Java language. Okay, don't use both of them. Right? Preferably use Java. The main reason being that it's an open source tool. If you are stuck somewhere, then nobody is responsible for it. Okay, you're not paying somebody any money to work on this tool. So suppose you are stuck somewhere tomorrow. Whom do you approach? Right? Google is the friend end, right? You search on Google, and on Google you've got a lot of Google forums and all, and a lot of things which tell you a lot of information about Selenium with Java. That's the major thing. A lot of help is available. Google as a company, it is automating all its applications in Selenium. Google uses Selenium for Gmail, Google Apps, all those other stuff, AdWords, and all their tools, they are automated with Selenium, right? So they provide a good, and they use Java language, and a lot of information is available on the internet for Selenium with Java. Okay, now, yeah, some will ask obviously, but 70% of the market uses Selenium with Java. Right. Now, about this tool, what is the objective of this course? Okay, the objective of this course is to learn about a framework, right? How to design a framework. Now, what is a framework? Okay, we will learn how to develop Selenium scripts. Okay, these will be our scripts. Script 1, say then script 2, and the end script. Okay, like this we will be making our scripts. What do you mean by scripts? By scripts I mean the code, Java code, which will be responsible for testing the application. Fine. Now all these scripts will be made, all these will be made using WebDriver. Okay, we will be using WebDriver to make it. But in real-time examples, in real-time world, we need to execute the scripts serially. one after another, right? We want that certain set of HTML reports should be generated. We want that logging should happen. What do you mean by logging? Suppose you are automating 10,000 test cases and the script takes 5 hours to execute, right? You need to know what happened at each and every second. So you make a text file and put logs into it. Okay. Then you want your data to be read maybe from an XLS file or an XML file or a database itself. You don't want to hardcode the data in the scripts. You want to read the scripts from external files, right? And obviously you want to report the errors and all, and you want to store the screenshots of the errors. Okay. Now how do you do all this stuff? Selenium will not generate HTML reports, logging, XLS, screenshots, all that stuff. To do that, we use a centralized controlling entity named as, say, the JUnit framework or the TestNG framework, or sometimes people also use BDD like Cucumber or Fitness, fine, or they also use many times in C#. If we talk about in C#, we have got NUnit, fine. So all these things, this centralized entity in between is known is like a testing framework. Okay, the whole thing collectively is known as a testing framework. What this centralized thing does is it calls the scripts, right? It generates the reports, it does the logging, it reads the data, passes it over to the scripts, it stores the screenshots, fine. So the complete thing over here, this complete stuff will be our framework. Okay, WebDriver is just a part of the framework. So learning WebDriver is not enough. Along with the WebDriver, you need to learn JUnit, TestNG, or Cucumber, or Fitness frameworks like these, so that practically in your company you can work on the projects. Right? Most of the people joining this training are joining to work on the projects in Selenium, right, or to get a job. Right? If you have that focus in your mind, then you need to learn it this way. Learning WebDriver is not more than enough. Right? There are questions being asked. Sorry, I was ignoring you. Right? Yes. I'll limit. Where Shali? I can't get access to training session. Yes, I limit it. Again, people are not able to join it. Right. I don't like messing up with the training, because in the end so many people they come, right? So I just take one class in one day and maximum 25 people. Yeah. So what about Eclipse? It is also like Eclipse is something different. Okay, you will come to know, right? You will come to know about Eclipse. Right now I'm telling you about it. What is the difference in JUnit and Java? JUnit uses Java. Okay, Java is the platform on which you make JUnit code. All right, right. Okay, so now those of you who have already paid for the training, I request them to join the training at the earliest tomorrow, because the limit might be over. A lot of people they come for the trial classes, right? So now moving further, what is the first step? First step is installing Java. As you all were able to join WebEx conference, I think you guys have Java installed on your machine. Fine. The second thing is downloading Eclipse. Right. What is Eclipse? Eclipse is an editor for Java language. If you have ever studied C language, right, then for C language we used to have the editor Turbo C. Right. We used to have an editor known as Turbo C. Right. And hold on. Right. And similarly for Java language, we have an editor known as Eclipse. It is an editor in which you write the code. For example, if you have to write some note for yourself, you write a note in a notepad, right? Similarly, notepad is editor for your English language. For Java language, Eclipse is the editor. Okay. Eclipse you can download from Google. You just need to go to Google and type download Eclipse Indigo. I advise people to download Eclipse Indigo. There is a specific reason behind it, which I will share when we learn a testing framework. Okay. If you are having other Eclipse, there is nothing to worry. You can continue working with it. But when you are building up a framework, please download Eclipse Indigo from this link. Right, Eclipse, download this one, Eclipse ID for Java EE developers, depending on your operating system, 32-bit or 64-bit. Fine. Are TestNG, Cucumber, JUnit reporting utility? Yes, they are reporting utility for Selenium. They can be used, but apart from generating reports, they do a lot of other things as well. Right? For example, there is one test case. You want to run that test case multiple times with different sets of data. Right? You want to parameterize that test case. You want to run the test case with different sets of data. So these frameworks will be used to run them. Okay. So that's the thing. There are many other features which I don't have time right now to explain, but when we learn the framework, we'll come. Okay, when you download Eclipse, right? When you download Eclipse, you get a folder like this. You extract it. Inside it, you have Eclipse.exe file. Eclipse is not an installable thing. It is actually it comes in a bundle. Right? You start this exe file, and Eclipse will start up. Okay, Eclipse will start up. Right? Hold on, I think I need to increase limit for tomorrow class. A lot of people, they are not able to join in for the trial classes. I'll increase the limit. Okay. Look, that's what I told you. Right now, I cannot tell you the difference, because if I tell you the difference, you will not be able to understand it. Right? There are people in the training who have got no background as well. Okay, so for time being, just go as I say. If you don't have Eclipse on your machine, go and download Eclipse Indigo. Fine. And when you start Eclipse, you get a window like this. Okay. In this window, you have a path. This path is a location where you will be storing all your Java code. Right. I'll make a new path named as April 2nd. This will be our workspace for the entire training duration. Whatever project I make will be stored under this location in my PC. Okay, you click on OK, and it will take some time for Eclipse to start up. Now, many times, right? Many times, what happens is that when you download Eclipse and you start it, you get an error. It started on my machine, but many times you get an error. Make sure if you are having a 64-bit machine, I told you need to download Java ID for Java EE developers. Okay, Eclipse ID for Java EE developers. Fine. Now, many times when you download Eclipse, you get an error, right? If you are having a 64-bit machine, you will get an error. And if you are having a 64-bit machine, make sure that you have JDK installed on your PC, Java Development Kit. Okay, so just go to Google and type download JDK. Make sure JDK is present on your machine if you are a 64-bit user. Just go to this link and install Java Development Kit. Fine, then Eclipse will start working. Okay, so right. So now, once you have Eclipse on your system, right? Once you have Java on your system and Eclipse is started, you get a screen like this. Okay, you get a screen like this, and in this screen on the left hand side you have the package explorer, project explorer, right? In the central portion you have this portion where you write all the code, and in the console over here you will get the output. Fine. Now how do I do that? Let's make a simple project in Eclipse first. Right, I right click over here and then I click on new project. Okay, if you select Java project, if you don't see this option, expand this and you'll get the option Java project. Okay, you click on next and you give a project name. Fine, say I give a project name like day 1. Alright, now I'm going to start off with basics of Java. Okay, those of you who are not so comfortable with the basics of any programming language or Java, I'll talk to them first. Fine. Give me 5 minutes. I will talk to those people who do not have a good background in Java language or in programming language and are not very comfortable. Okay. Look, this is an online session. There are constraints on me as well to cover everything in depth as far as Java is concerned, because if I start teaching Java in depth, what happens is that I fall short of time, right? We'll end up the course in approximately 5 to 6 weekends. Okay, 5 to 6 weekends is a lot of time, 20 to 25 hours. But still, if I concentrate on, if I keep on moving towards Java, then I concentrate less. I end up concentrating less on WebDriver basics. So what I tell people is that after the 12 classes, if you feel that fine, you're able to understand stuff, continue with the class. If after the 12 classes you feel that fine, it's not working out for you, right? Don't join the training directly. Okay, go for the videos. As I told you, I have made these videos in Selenium. Just buy the videos. Okay, learn from them, watch them, right? Get a certain background. Okay, and then join the next batch by paying the remaining fee. You don't have to pay the full fee again. You just have to pay the fee that is the difference between the online training and the videos which you paid for. This way, when you come to the class after watching the videos, you have a background. The videos are very elaborate. If you just talk about Java, then for Java itself, I have got around 7 videos, which are more than enough, and they are over 15 hours or so. Okay, so that's what I recommend people. Right? If you are not very confident in languages, in programming languages, right, go for the video and then learn the training. Right? So now I'll start off with Eclipse, how to use Java program in Eclipse. Now this is the day 1 project which I just created. Okay, if you expand this project, you'll get a source folder and you'll get this GRI system library. Okay, what is this source folder? This is the folder in which you'll keep all Java code, and GRI system library is nothing but Java which was installed on your system. Okay, so this is the Java which is installed on the system, and source is the folder in which you create Java files. If you want to create a Java file, you right click on the source folder, go to new class, right, and name that class. For example, I'll name that class as first Java program. Fine. I'm assuming that you have a little bit idea of programming, right? At least what loops are, what if statements are, right? I'm assuming that much you know what arrays are and all like that. Fine. Now this is the first Java program, and you can go to Window, Preferences, and just increase the font size so that in online classes you're able to see my screen clearly. Correct. Okay. Fine. Now right. Now out here, this is the public class for Java program. Okay. There is a rule in Java. The name of the class should be same as name of the file. Okay. If this is first Java program, then this Java file should be named as first Java program.java. Okay. Public static void main. This is the main function in which the control comes up for the first time when you execute your program. If you have studied C language, then in C language as well there is a main function. The control comes inside that main function when you run the program for the first time. Okay, what public is, what static is, what void and all this stuff is, you will get to know very soon. I'm not right now. I cannot tell you what static is. I'll tell you after explaining the concepts of object-oriented programming. Fine. Now in Java, if you have to print your name, the command is system.out.println. Okay, just write system.out.println. Say hello, people. Right. The shortcut is you type SYSO and hit Control spacebar. Okay, and this will come up. Right. Similarly, as other programming languages have, there are data types over here. We have got an int, say int I equals to 100, and we have got long L equals to say 2000, 20,000, right? Then we have got double D equals to, in double you can store a decimal number, right? Integer and long, they do not store decimal numbers, right? Basically long, it can hold a bigger number than an integer. The capacity of long is bigger than integer. For example, I put a number like this in an integer, it will throw an error. But if I put a number like this in a long and keep L in the end, it will not throw an error. Okay, this error automatically comes up, and if you move your mouse over the error, it tells you the solution as well. Fine. This is the advantage of Eclipse. If you make a mistake, right, it immediately throws the error, and if you move your mouse over the error, it will tell you that the literal this is of type int is out of range. That means it's a very big number for integer. Okay. In double you can store decimals. Fine. And I cannot get you the brace. right? Okay, anyways, if you have a string to be kept, you can keep a string like this in string, right? So these are the data types available in Java languages. There are others as well available, like we have got a boolean, like boolean b equals to true. Boolean can hold two values. One is true, other value is false, right? I will talk about this. We'll come to know this is used in conditional statements like if statements and all of that stuff, right? So this is just a refresher that these are the data types which are present in Java language. Some of the data types. String is not a data type; it's an existing class, right? Now, uh, if I run this code, obviously it will print hello world. And if you look at the project, okay, if you go to the properties of the project, fine, you will see this part. This is the path where project is lying. Fine. This is the path where project is lying, and copy the path. Okay. This is the source folder, which is also visible in Eclipse. Okay. If you open the source folder, you will see for Java program.java file. Okay. If you open the Java file, you will have the function public static void main and all that stuff which are written. Okay. And if you open the bin folder, you will see a class file. Class file is nothing but every Java file it is converted to a class file, and this class file is like an executable file. Okay. And generally what happens is if the client asks for a certain project, we don't give him the source code, we give him the class file so that he can execute the class file on his end. If you try to open this class file, you will not be able to understand what are the contents of the file. For example, if I try to open it, you will not be able to understand. Okay, so every Java file is converted to a class file. The class file actually is delivered to the client. Fine. Now, this was just about one Java file. What if I have got 1000 Java files? Corresponding to 1000 Java files, I will have 1000 class files. For example, I make another program, say a class called say hello, and in this class I type in system.out.println hello and run this prints hello. If you look at the class file, then say hello.class is also generated. So similarly, if I make a project and I have 1000 Java files, I'll get 1000 class files. And suppose I have to deliver the client all the class files. How do I give him? Obviously, the answer would be zip the class files into a one file, put off the class files, zip them and send it to the client. In Java, we call it make a jar file. Technically, zipping all the class files together is known as making a jar file. In a jar file, you have got n number of class files, right? And you give this single jar file to the client. For example, when Java is installed on your machine, this is Java which is installed in your machine, right? What is there inside this Java? Many jar files are there. Inside every jar file, lot of class files are there. You see that? Okay. Jar file is nothing but collection of class files, right? Now similarly, when you have to work with Selenium, you need to download Selenium and you need to configure it. So I'm teaching you now how to configure Selenium on your machine, right? The thing is, whosoever made Selenium, okay, made it on his local system. he made the class files, he put all the class files into jar files, and he made the jar files available to us. When we install Java on our machine, only the jar files of Java come up. Inside the jar files of Java, the class files of Java language are present. But Selenium is made by somebody else. Fine. So you need to download the jar files of Selenium from the internet. Okay. Each jar file of Selenium will have got a lot of class files. So you need to do that. You need to go to the site seleniumhq.org. Okay. On this site, you click on the downloads link over here, and you go over here. Click on this download link. The latest version is 2.32. Okay. When you download it, you will get this folder Selenium. I have 3.2.31 right now with me. Okay, everything started from 2.0 beta somewhere in 2011. Right, I first worked on this thing, and it's blank right now. I have deleted it. Then 2.1 came up. Yeah, this was 2.1 and 2.6. Yeah, so things started moving up. Now you have got 2.31, and in this you have got jar files. You'll get these two jar files. Along with that, you will have jar files under the library directory. Okay, don't miss the files inside the library directory. Okay, now how can you make a jar file? You simply have to right click on the project, select the option export to jar file like this, and you can make it. Right, but you will not feel the need of making it. You don't need to make a jar file. You need to use the existing jar files of Selenium, which you will be downloading on your system. Okay, now you need to go to the project properties and go to Java build path. Right, we'll be using this a lot. Okay, you need to go to project properties, Java build path, and select on the libraries tab over here. Okay, currently Java library is present inside the project. Okay, you need to include the Selenium library as well. For doing that, you will have to click on add external jars and go to the location where you have downloaded Selenium. Right, you can go to the location C drive, this one, right, and include these two jars, and also include the jars inside the library. Once you do this, you will get reference libraries here, and inside this you will have the Selenium jar file. This means that Selenium is configured in your system, in Eclipse project. Selenium is never installed. There is no exe file for Selenium. Right? Selenium is always configured.